Hi there. My name is Nick Thornburg, and tonight we're going to be making a dish that has never failed to please anyone to whom I've served it. Taco salad. This is a dish I pretty much came up with on my own, and the great thing about it is how easy it is. I am not a chef, and you don't have to be either. All you really need is an adventurous spirit and a little bit of intuition. So, what do you say we get started? So where we're going to start is by slow cooking our meat and preparing our tortilla bowl, which means we're going to want to set our oven to 275 degrees. I guess. To be perfectly honest with you, the last couple of times I've made this recipe, I have overcooked the tortilla bowl. So what I'm trying tonight is setting the temperature a little bit lower than I have in the past and leaving that tortilla bowl in there long enough, because we want that thing crispy but not burned. And as far as the meat is concerned, well, we're slow cooking it, so it doesn't matter if the temperature's a little bit on the low side. As long as we leave the meat in there long enough that it cooks through, should be fine. Right? Let's find out. So the first thing we're going to want to do is cut up our meat. Tonight I'm using a boneless pork loin chop. I've also made this recipe with beef and chicken. You can use pretty much any kind of meat you want. Tonight we're having pork. So what we want to do is cut the meat into thin strips, like so. There's a nice little fatty one there. That'll be a treat for somebody. And then slice them on a diagonal to make small chunks. Now, oh yeah, pro tip. Fill your sink part of the way with hot soapy water, because you're going to want to wash your hands several times while you're making this recipe, and you don't want to be turning the water on again and off again and putting soap on your hands and going through all that rigmarole. Ain't nobody got time for that. So, putting water in the sink is a really good way to just keep it ready. Now what I like to do when I slow cook this meat is make a little pouch out of foil. Put the meat in it. Get in there, okay. Give it just a little bit of oil so it doesn't stick. And mix it up a little. Make sure that oil is on all the surfaces. Then fold it over. Roll it down like a school lunch bag. And just make it a little pouch that you seal up nice and tight, just like that. Put it in a pan. I like to line my pans with foil because this pouch is probably going to leak, but if it's lined with foil, I don't have to wash it afterwards. So we're going to set this aside, and then we're going to get started on our tortilla bowl. I have here a large plain white flour tortilla in a pan, and I'm just going to shake a little bit of vegetable oil onto it. And I'm going to take this brush. This is a basting brush, also known, another pro tip, as a chip brush. These cost about $3.50 at the grocery store. They cost about $1.50 at the hardware store. Exact same brush. So we just brush the oil onto the tortilla, make sure it's evenly coated, flip it over, do the same thing. Shake the oil onto it, brush the oil onto it. And then you're going to want to get an oven-safe bowl. I have a few here. These are Pyrex bowls. You can also use stainless steel. And just sort of press the tortilla down into it. And I am breaking this tortilla. But it might not matter, because what you want to do is just make sure that tortilla takes on the shape of the bowl. And as the oil cooks off of it, it'll get crispy, and it'll retain that shape when you take it out of the bowl. I just accidentally opened the oven because I was trying to grab a dish towel off the rack, but I did it wrong. You're going to do stuff wrong. It happens all the time. Don't worry about it. So now that, through the magic of video, our oven has preheated itself in record time, we're going to go ahead and pop those bad boys in there. Here goes the meat. Here goes the tortilla bowl. Man, it is hot in there. I should have known to expect that. So we're going to give that stuff 30 minutes in the oven at 275, and while we're waiting, we're going to start on our beans. We're going to need for our beans 2 cans of pinto beans, 1 can of red kidney beans, and 1 can of black beans. We're going to want to drop the pinto beans in a pot. We might spill some of their juice on the counter because we're looking at the camera rather than what we're doing. Not a problem. We're going to take the black beans and the red kidney beans and put them in a colander because we're going to drain them off. Then we're going to leave those in the sink. We're going to add them later. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to put a lid on this pan, or pot, I should say. Put it on the stove over low heat. Let it simmer for a good long time. Now we've got our beans in the pot. We're going to want to add some seasoning to cook into them. So we're going to put in there some paprika, some chili powder, some, that was supposed to be, cumin. I was reading the Spanish side of the label and I was like, wait, what is comino molido? Puro? Oh, pure ground cumin, yeah. I like to use a lot of cumin because I just love the smell. Another thing we're going to put in there, of course, oregano. And basil. Sage. Gotta have some sage in there for that southwest flavor. A little bit of garlic. Sometimes I use fresh garlic. Tonight I'm not because I'm feeling lazy. And, what the hell? Dillweed. Never done that before. We'll see how it turns out. Get yourself a nice trusty wooden spoon. Stir it all up. And then just let that simmer while you engage in the... Oh my God, I almost forgot the last thing you need to add to the beans, and they absolutely will not work without it. A generous amount of chopped cilantro. Now, cilantro is a divisive ingredient. I realize this. A lot of people do not enjoy the smell or the taste, but those people are wrong. So now that we've got that in there, we can mix it up. And we can let it simmer. Yeah, tastes great already, and it's not even hot yet. Okay, so now that we've got our beans simmering and our meat slow cooking and our tortilla bowl crisping, it's time to take a minute and engage in one of the most important aspects of cooking at home: drinking. And you might think I'm kidding, but I'm actually not, because especially if you're new to cooking at home, you're going to want to make sure that you maintain a positive attitude and stay relaxed. And I find that alcohol helps with that a lot, especially if you're cooking Mexican food, because that means you get to drink tequila. So, and of course, there's only one way to drink tequila, the right way: out of a shot glass with a slice of lime and a couple grains of salt. Salt, shot, lime. I can't quite explain why that particular paradigm is just so enjoyable, but really is one of the most wonderful things in life. Now that the oven and the stove are pretty much on autopilot, what say we chop some vegetables? I very much enjoy chopping my own vegetables. You may not want to go to all the trouble, and of course, there's no wrong way to cook in your own kitchen. But for me, chopping vegetables is a very zen activity. It just helps me clear my mind, focus on what I'm doing, and do a good job at something, you know? I also very much enjoy washing dishes, so who knows, maybe I'm weird. So tonight, we are having sliced black olives, diced tomatoes, chopped red onions, And of course, because it's a salad, lettuce. This is green leaf lettuce. Use whatever kind of lettuce you want. This just happened to be on sale. And this will become important later. Sliced grapes and diced pineapple. Ah, but there's our oven timer going off, which means it's time to remove the meat and the tortilla bowl. I ended up cooking them for 50 minutes, not 30, because I checked on them at 30 and they didn't seem done yet. So, that's what cooking at home is all about. Check it up, make adjustments as necessary. I think I got the tortilla bowl right this time. It's nice and stiff, nice and golden brown. Yeah. Now, we're going to have to let this meat cool off for a second before we can open up the pouch to have a look at it, but I'm sure it's fine. And in the meantime, the beans are ready to be mashed. Now, this part is labor intensive, but also super easy. You just mash these beans like potatoes until they have a relatively smooth consistency. If you have kids, well, actually, don't have your kids do this because they're very hot. But if you have kids who are extremely careful, maybe have them do this for you. Yeah, they're coming along nicely now. All right. That's about as much mashing as I feel like doing. Now, it's time to add the black beans and the red kidney beans we set aside earlier. Just dump them right in there. And, of course, the chopped red onions. You want to add those red onions after you cook the beans because you want them to still be crispy when you serve them. Oh yeah, look at that. That's going to be really good. So the beans are done. The tortilla bowl is done. And the meat packet feels cool enough that we can open it now. So let's see what we've got. It's kind of white and has no characteristics yet, but that's fine because we're not done cooking it. Oh yeah, that's right. We're cooking it again. So the next thing you're going to want is a skillet. You can also use a frying pan, but I prefer a cast iron skillet because it makes that wonderful sound. Put it on the burner over medium-high heat. Add some oil. And just let that get hot. And while that's happening, we're going to make salsa. And when I say make salsa, what I really mean is make salsa better. This is store-brand salsa. I only ever get mild because you can always make it hotter if you need to. So what we're going to do is we're going to pour a little bit of this salsa into this bowl. And we're going to add the grapes. Trust me. My uncle did this once at Thanksgiving when I was like 11, and I have never been the same. And we just mix it up. And that's done. Okay, back to the stove. Now this is the exciting part. You see how this oil is smoking in the pan? That means it's time to add the pork. So here we go. Oh, you're going to love that sound. Now we're just going to move it around a little bit. And we're going to add the seasoning. This is the same seasoning I put in the beans before. I just mixed it up in a container so it's easier to shake onto the pork. So we shake a little bit of that onto the pork. Move it around just a little bit. It assaults your nose. You can feel it in the back of your throat if you're breathing the steam too deeply. And this is not going to take long. As a matter of fact, I should probably turn the heat off right now because this takes about 1 minute. You just keep it moving, keep it moving, keep it moving. All you got to do is coat the pork with the seasoning. And then you get it off of that heat. And that's done. Now, last but not least, we got to make the queso, right? You've got nachos, right? You made salsa, right? What kind of host would you be if you didn't also offer your guests some queso? Don't worry, this is easy. I figured it out. Before I even started shooting any of this video, I didn't tell you, but I cooked a chorizo. Honestly, I would have preferred ground chorizo, but all they had was wieners, so that's what I got. Wieners. Anyway, what we're going to do is just slice it up real small. That's why I cooked it to begin with, by the way, because you got to cook it beforehand. Otherwise, it's going to be too difficult to slice. You need it to be nice and firm and already cooked. Now what we're going to want to do is get another pan. Son of a bitch. Now what we're going to want to do is get another pan, put it on the burner, throw some oil in there, let it heat up. Okay, through the magic of time lapse, this oil is now nice and hot, so we're going to add some cheap-ass cheese. Here we go. My fingers are all slippery, so I'm having a hard time opening the bag. All right, here we go, here we go, here we go. In goes the cheese. In goes the chorizo. In goes more diced onions. And some diced tomatoes. Now we stir it around, stir it around. Yep, a little bit fell out. Stir it around, stir it around. Obviously, this needs more cheese. So here it comes. Yes. Yes, more cheese. More, I say. And more oil. And more oil. Oil keeps it from congealing into a sloppy mess. At least that's my theory. So we just stir this around and stir it around and stir it around and let it melt and become one big thing. Oh, shit. This is looking way too thick. You know what? I think maybe I ought to add some milk. I don't know if that's going to help, but what the hell? Let's try it. So we're going to stir this around and stir this around. It's like adding milk to Kraft macaroni and cheese, right? Makes it creamier, doesn't it? This is looking pretty good, actually, right now. I think the milk was the right choice. And that's what cooking is all about. It's all about having intuition, it's all about having imagination, and it's all about being unafraid to take risks. Oh my God, would you look at this? Yeah. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I have never made queso before. This was a complete guess. And, yeah. Ooh, I can't wait to eat it. Here we go. Tortilla bowl. Nice and crisp. Beans. There they are. Lettuce. A dollop of salsa. Maybe 2 dollops. Why not? The pork. Excuse me if I use my fingers. The black olives. And of course, the pineapple. Next, we garnish it with a side of chips and add our chorizo queso. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my God. I think we did this right, guys. Yeah, I know we did this right. So there we are. A taco salad. Fit for a king. Only one thing remains now, the taste test. Oh my God. Oh my God. I did that. Wow. Yeah, I think this worked. Mmm. 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 Yeah, this definitely worked. Thanks for watching. I'm going to eat the shit out of this taco salad now. And then I'm going to, oh God, clean this kitchen.